Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey here with the latest around the NFL, and we begin where else but with Odell Beckham Jr. The drama, the question marks continue around where Odell Beckham will go next. He was officially put on waivers today by the Cleveland Browns. Now he says, or at least has leaked, I should probably specify, that he wants to go to a contender and it will allegedly, according to ESPN, cause issues if he doesn't go to a contender, which, diva receivers are back, folks. Now, the way this works is Beckham must be claimed by Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, or he becomes a free agent. The way the Browns did this deal is they moved the majority of his remaining salary to a roster bonus. So a team that claims Beckham would owe him pretty much the remaining salary of $7.25 million for the rest of the year. That is a lot of money to pay Odell Beckham, given the way he's played in recent years. So there's a very real chance that OBJ ends up going unclaimed on waivers and then becomes a free agent and can sign wherever he so chooses. Now, the Odell Beckham in Cleveland, which I think is very clear at this point, didn't work. It was not a good situation for whatever reason. This happens sometimes, but whatever reason, Odell Beckham in New York, especially early on with better Eli Manning, was awesome. Now, that 60-game-ish sample size, about double what he had in Cleveland, heavily buoyed by his first 3 years, which were off the charts good. But the last 29 games in Cleveland, I mean, it's double the games, basically. It ain't double the production. It ain't even close to it. So for whatever reason, the OBJ we saw in Cleveland, not nearly that good to what we saw with the Giants. So our first question, before we go into some potential destinations here, is would you sign Odell Beckham Jr.? If you ran an NFL team, would you bring him in? Type in OBJ for yes, or type in NOBJ for no. We got some destinations here. These first four we'll spend a little bit more time on momentarily, but it is the Saints, the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Raiders. I would say maybe your top four threats to get OBJ. Some other four teams that have been linked. I saw one of the ESPN reports saying the Bucs. They're so loaded at receiver, I don't think it makes any sense, even with Antonio Brown a bit banged up right now. The Ravens, last year would have made a lot more sense, but I kind of want to keep playing Rashad Bateman a lot, and that would take away growth from him if you added Odell Beckham. The Patriots are a logical fit, but I don't know if Bill Belichick wants that guy right now. The Packers should go get him. I question, though, if they actually would. So we're going to go more on depth on those first four teams in a second. But first, today's pinned comment on this video. Where will Odell Beckham Jr. sign? Shoot your shot. Make your predictions for me in the comment section, especially if you get the ad break here on YouTube. Let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. Start things off here. Now, look, the Raiders signed Deshaun Jackson already, and that's your vertical threat to replace Henry Ruggs. Deshaun's not a number one receiver anymore, and this Raiders team overall was pretty thin before the Henry Ruggs situation. Even with Deshaun, it's still a little bit thin. And now, the Raiders with their salary cap would have to make some significant moves, even after cutting Damon Arnett, to absorb Odell Beckham's contract right now. But if he clears waivers, I think the Raiders would have interest. Let's go to the Saints. Their receiving corps is just, it's bad. Producer Trace, Saints fan, it's just not it. Michael Thomas is not coming back this year. It's a homecoming of sorts for OBJ. You bop everybody down a spot. Callaway Smith. OBJ is as your wide receiver one. That's a lot more competitive of a unit. Plus, if it's Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian, the offense would be thrown up to OBJ, which I think deep down is what Odell Beckham actually wants. So I think the Saints make a lot of sense. The Niners, meanwhile, were not among the three heavily linked teams per Mike Florio, but I wanted to include him anyway. He's so frequently linked to San Francisco. Now, Kyle Shanahan, like maybe 15 minutes ago when we're filming this, said the Niners were not going to claim him. Salary cap space. An issue for the Saints, by the way, as well. Maybe one reason why the Niners say no, Brandon Ayuk finally had himself a big-time game, which I think matters quite a bit for the Niners moving forward. Finally, the Seahawks, who I wonder now if they have quickly become maybe the head favorite right there for two reasons. One, Odell Beckham allegedly, per Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, wants to join the Seahawks. That's where he wants to go. And this sounds familiar. Russell Wilson has interest. He had an interest in adding Antonio Brown. They didn't bring back anyone of note there. Did not get him. Russell Wilson would love Odell Beckham. I mean, Odell Beckham, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf, if they could coexist, would be the best receiving core in the NFL. Might not be the most coexisting unit, but because since the Seahawks too often can't get Metcalf or Lockett involved consistently, it's kind of been feast or famine. Could make sense. Oh, big reason why they're here. Seattle can't afford to claim Odell Beckham. $13 million in cap space. Now, they want to roll a lot of that over, but financially, they could make it happen in an instant. Speaking of in an instant making money, do it BetUS, our sportsbook partner. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code NFL Daily. That gets you a 125% deposit bonus, meaning if you put down $100, they're going to give you an extra $125 for free. And if you follow the upcoming instructions properly, we will hook you up with an NFL jersey. So, step one, go to chatsports.com/bet in your browser. Step two, use promo code NFL Daily when depositing at least $100 if you're a new user. As when that gets you the 125% deposit bonus. Step three then is to email us jersey@chatsports.com with this information. BetUS account number, screenshot of your first bet, shipping address, and jersey size, color, and player requests. Now, we don't have every single player available. For example, we have no long snappers available. I'm sorry. No kickers because I hate them, and punters too. But we do have a bunch of NFL jerseys for your favorite team or player. We've got a massive variety. I promise you there will be something for you, whatever team or player you're a fan of. So again, send that information to jersey@chatsports.com. Not every single jersey is available, but a pretty damn good majority of them are. So again, if you have questions, you followed the instructions properly, send that email over to jersey@chatsports.com. Let's head now to Aaron Rodgers. The latest on this situation, namely, will he be back for the Packers on Sunday? He missed this week's game against the Chiefs, tested positive due to COVID, and because he is an unvaccinated player, it means he's not eligible to return until at least Saturday. Now, I think he will be eligible come that day, given what he said about his symptoms and whatnot, as he drew plenty of media criticism, which I frankly don't care to rehash because everyone has already formed their opinion, so why bother on that front? What is very clear, though, is Jordan Love was not great in his first start against a iffy Chiefs defense. 19 of 34 for 190, one touchdown, one INT. The real off-field drama continued around Aaron Rodgers. There was a report, by the way, from ESPN that a lot of opposing teams were unhappy with the way the Packers handled the Aaron Rodgers situation. There has been some calls to suspend Aaron Rodgers potentially, which I'll let you guys decide. I'll take the old coward's way out. Should Aaron Rodgers be suspended for allegedly, I'll throw that in there, violating COVID protocols? Head down to the comments, have some fun, and yeah, you guys can be mean to each other if you want. Y for yes and for no. Now, the next game for Green Bay is against the Seattle Seahawks. And guess what? Russell Wilson is back, cleared to return after having surgery on his injured finger, came back in Week 5. He's missed the minimum 3 games for going on IR. Now he's back for Green Bay. Geno Smith has been the starter at quarterback for Seattle. They went 1-2 in his absence against not the best of teams. And now Russell Wilson will try in the second half to will his team to a playoff spot. Russell Wilson, a very competitive player. He is one of those guys that I think actually does care a bit about his legacy. He wants to make playoffs and make Super Bowls and win them, which he hasn't done in far too often. And now he's sitting in this situation where currently Seattle is on the outside looking in of the NFL playoff picture, and they're going to have to make a big-time push. Now, we could spend a full video breaking down the NFL playoff picture, and we will for you guys tomorrow. So subscribe for daily NFL videos, including the first of our weekly NFL playoff picture looks coming out on Tuesday. Turn those noties on. Don't miss anything here at Chat Sports. Let's look at our quarterback theme here. How about Mac Jones? Because I got some thoughts on this one. A video has gone out, several angles of it. Mac Jones strip sacked, Brian Burns chasing after the football. Mac Jones then grabs Burns by the ankle, does not let go, and twists that ankle, a bit of a gator roll there, and Brian Burns sprains his ankle, does come back later. Jones said he was trying to tackle Brian Burns. Now, we can't show you the entire video due to copyright, but here's a nice screen grab. I'll remind everyone that Brian Burns does not have the football, so at minimum, this should be holding. But Jones twists and rolls that ankle over to the left. The NFL Network reported that Jones would be subject to fines, not a suspension. Quick to already make that decision, since that's rather quick on that front. Bit interesting there. So what do you think? I am of the mindset this is a dirty play. You twist the ankle away from the play, that's dirty. Come on. Like, I was trying to hurt him, I was trying to make the tackle. He's on the football. You can't tackle him. Like, that's not dirty. But what do you guys think? I'll leave it up to you, our mostly unbiased audience. D for dirty or C for clean. We'll wrap up today's NFL news with some discussion on what was week 9, for the NFL. Peak parity with a common theme, by the way. Good quarterbacks this week, they didn't play well. Which week 8, for example, was the backup quarterback week. Mike White wins the game. Cooper Rush, wins. This week, across the NFL, good teams, good offenses, bad quarterbacks, or good quarterbacks didn't play well. Let's go to Denver, Dallas, for example. Denver was up 30-0 in this game. Dak Prescott didn't look good. He played, frankly, I would argue his worst game since the last time he played the Denver Broncos back in 2017. It was a very poor showing out of Dallas and has drawn plenty of national media reaction. But that was far from the only game involving a good quarterback where he didn't play well. Derek Carr, the yards look okay, 30 of 46, 296, but 2 interceptions. Didn't play very well. Big reason why the Raiders ended up losing that particular game. Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. He's played great this year. Big reason why the Raiders could not beat the Giants. A common theme this year for Kansas City has been Patrick Mahomes has not played well. He was 20 of 33 for 166. I don't know what's going on with Mahomes, but he pretty much looks broken, and they got to figure out something, because beating an Aaron Rodgers Packers team by 6, it's not exactly what you're going for. Maybe the most stunning loss of the week, the Bills, who, much like Dallas, was one of the best offenses in the NFL, 6 points against the Jags? What is this? Opposite world like that made no sense. The Jags are terrible. The Bills are great. 31 of 47, 2 INTs for Josh Allen. The Josh Allen who was best in this game was the Jags defense. Meanwhile, the Rams and Matthew Stafford, it's a Titans team that's not had a great defense this year, if we're being honest. They didn't play. Stafford was bad. I just named several of the top MVP threats this year. Stafford, maybe Carr to an extent, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen for sure, and they all laid an egg. So it's a bit surprising and unusual to see that type of game go down across the NFL this week. It's kind of a weird parody theme thing from the NFL.